What's this? That wasn't the end of the story?
That wasn't the end of the story at all.
At all?
No, because I had been living completely across the state of Missouri and along the Mississippi River in Louisiana, Missouri. And the war had ended, and my father's defense factory had closed, and we moved to Nevada in the farm little place right next to my grandparents.
During Thanksgiving.
And I hadn't been around this aunt, and he said she was 5 feet. She was only 4'9", and
both ways.
She was a dear, and after I came to town, I started school the day after Thanksgiving, and so I would go down to Aunt Gladys's and have my lunch every day, and that's how come I was down there, because I was practicing. I'm one of the few people that ever played an accordion in a marching band. And when the war was over in Louisiana, Missouri, they wanted to have a parade. They hadn't had a band all during the war because of musical instruments. You couldn't buy musical instruments.
The men were in the service.
And they wanted to have a parade, and so there was a man that had some musical ability that taught in the school, and he went around and found some old instruments and brought them in, and he taught some of the kids to bang the drum a little bit, and some of them to go toot-toot on the horns, but nobody played very well. And he came to me and he said, "Carlene, do you suppose if I gave you the director's music that you could march with the band and play all of the parts?" And I said, "Well, I suppose I could." And so I marched with the band in the victory parade. And when I was going to move, he said, "I'm going to write a letter." He said, "I know the new band director where you're going isn't going to be able to use an accordion in the band, but I'll write and tell them that if they have any need for some music that you might be able to, that you could supply it." Well, I'd only been there a month, and the band director came looking for me in class and said, "You know, we've been asked to provide music for the local theater for Santa Claus coming to town. And would you like to, and it's a paying job, and would you like to do that?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I could do that." And he had never heard me play the accordion. And so it was a Saturday morning, and I was in at my aunt's because my dad had something else to do, and my uncle was going to take me up at the theater when it was time to go. When this guy knocked on the door, and I didn't pay any attention to him, and he got his money collected. Well, can you believe for the next month,
came Monday,
he followed me home from school almost every day
Smart man.
to my aunt's house. Never did speak to me to speak of, just followed me home. And then he says he'd run home and eat a bologna sandwich and try to get back, but I'd always be gone before the time he got back. Well, my uncle was a plumber, and he always took me back to school. So I didn't walk back to school. And it was 2 months before he got the nerve to ask me for a date.
You can be pretty intimidating.
Yeah, I was. I guess.
And you've lived happily ever after.
No, that's not all. You know what she said?
No.
She said, "Well, I'll think about it." Talk about a put-off.
Well, I wasn't about to go out with some stranger that I didn't even know.
That had been following you?
That had been following me home from school.
Not exactly. I was the one that stood up in front and directed the Star Spangled Banner and the Pledge of Allegiance at every assembly that we had.
So I had